All right, today we are diving into George Orwell's incredible essay, Shooting an Elephant. And look, it's a gripping story for sure, but it's also something so much deeper. It's a raw confession about a single moment when Orwell, working as a colonial police officer, had this profound and really disturbing insight into what power actually is.
I mean, what an opening line, right? It's so cynical and so sharp. It just throws you right into the intense, pressurized world he was living in. He wasn't just a guy doing a job. No, he was a walking, breathing symbol of the British Empire. And because of that, he was important enough to be hated. Think about that for a second.
So all that constant simmering hatred from the outside, well, it doesn't just stay on the outside, you know? It seeps in. It created this huge conflict inside him. And Orwell found himself totally torn, just completely at war with himself.
And this is where it gets really messy. On one hand, part of him was secretly on the side of the Burmese people. He hated imperialism. He saw the dirty work of empire every single day, the miserable prisoners, the floggings, and it just ate him up with an intolerable sense of guilt. But then, on the other hand, the day-to-day reality of being mocked, insulted, and tripped up by the locals filled him with this pure, visceral rage.
This quote just lays it all out there, doesn't it? It's the perfect description of a psychological trap. He's stuck, absolutely stuck. He despises the system he works for. But at the same time, he finds himself lashing out in his own mind against the very people that system is oppressing. And what's really interesting is he points out that this wasn't just him. This was basically the default setting for colonial officials.
Okay, so you've got this guy who is a walking powder keg of conflicting emotions. And now we get the spark. This whole internal war is about to explode into a single tragic event. And it all kicks off with something as ordinary as a phone call.
The call is about an elephant. But this isn't just any elephant. It's a tame working elephant that has gone into a state known as must, which is basically a temporary, hormonal, and very dangerous rage. And this elephant is on the loose, just tearing through the local bazaar. Total chaos. And the one person who can control it? Miles and miles away. So things go from bad to worse, and they do it fast. At first, it's property damage, a hut smashed here, a cow killed there. Bad, but maybe manageable. But then it kills a man, a local laborer, and just like that, everything changes. This is no longer just a problem. It's a deadly emergency.
And the way Orwell describes finding the man's body, it's just brutal. Truly horrifying. This is the moment. This is the turning point. Seeing that poor man makes it all terrifyingly real. And that's when he does it. He sends an orderly to go get an elephant rifle.
So Orwell finds the elephant, but here's the twist. It's totally calm now, just peacefully eating grass in a paddy field. The fit of must, the rage, it seems to have passed. So Orwell's thinking, okay, great, crisis averted. I don't need to shoot it. But then, he turns around and he realizes he is no longer in charge of this situation. Not at all.
You see, he had originally sent for the rifle mainly for self-defense, just in case. But a white man with a very big gun, well, that sends a message. And as he walked toward the elephant, a crowd had started to gather behind him.
And we are not talking about a handful of people here. The crowd grows and grows until there are at least 2,000 people watching his every move. And for them, he's not Orwell, the conflicted guy. No, he's the white man with the magic gun. And they are expecting a show. They wanted a spectacle. And yeah, they definitely wanted the meat, but they also wanted the entertainment.
And right there, it hits him. It's this sudden, crushing realization. He might look like the lead actor, the man in power, but the collective expectation of that crowd is an irresistible force. He understands, in that moment, that he's just a puppet, and they are the ones pulling the strings.
In this single, intense moment of pressure, something just clicks for Orwell. He gets it. He has this sudden, crystal-clear epiphany about the true and frankly hollow nature of imperialism.
He even gives it a name, the tyrant's paradox, and it's a brilliant idea. Basically, he realizes that when the white man becomes a tyrant, it is his own freedom that he destroys. He becomes, in his words, a sort of hollow posing dummy. He has to wear this mask of authority, always acting strong and decisive, and because of that, he loses his own freedom to choose. He has to do what the crowd expects of him.
So what does this mean in this exact situation? It means walking away is impossible.
Absolutely impossible. Can you imagine marching all that way with a rifle, 2,000 people at your back, and then you just do nothing? They would laugh at him. And for Orwell, that was the ultimate fear. He says his entire life in the East was one long struggle not to be laughed at.
So he knows. He knows shooting the elephant now that it's calm is wrong. It's a valuable animal. He compares it to destroying a huge, costly piece of machinery. But that fear, that paralyzing fear of looking like a fool, was stronger than his own conscience. He felt he had no choice.
And what happens next is just awful. It's not a quick or clean death. It is a slow, torturous ordeal. The first shot doesn't kill the great beast, it just cripples it. It takes multiple shots and a full half an hour for the elephant to finally die. All while Orwell has to stand there and watch, horrified by the terrible suffering that he's caused.
So the deed is done. And of course, in the aftermath, everyone is talking about it. The whole incident gets debated endlessly. But the thing is, nobody seems to understand the real reason it happened.
The reactions were very telling. The elephant's owner was furious, but what could he do? He was powerless. The older colonial officials, they all agreed with him. Good job, you did the right thing. But the younger ones, and this is just chilling, they said it was a damn shame to destroy a valuable elephant over a local laborer. They all debated the legal and the economic angles, totally missing the point.
Because they all missed the real reason. And here it is, Orwell's final, stark admission. He didn't do it because it was necessary, or because it was the right thing to do. He did it for one simple, and in his own words, pathetic reason: to avoid being laughed at.
And that's really why this essay is so timeless. It's not just about an elephant in Burma, it's a story about how systems of power corrupt and dehumanize everyone they touch, the oppressor and the oppressed. And it leaves us with a really uncomfortable question for our own lives. How often are we just puppets, performing a role we think is expected of us, pushed to and fro by the invisible will of the crowd?